All right, Rob, let's take a break, though, from the NFL. Big game last night. I
thought it was the best game
NBA.
of the year, Chris. You've watched more NBA games than me. I've watched a number of them. That was one that I wanted to watch. Clippers were playing well. Brooklyn, other than that blown game in Washington, had won 4 or 5 in a row. So I thought I was really ready for that game, and it lived up to it.
It was a great game. And I got to be honest, and you're right, I'm watching a lot of games. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Obviously, Lakers have had some really good games. But there's some good games out there. If I remember correctly, Philly, Boston, they had some decent games. But Brooklyn, Rob, and I have totally forgotten about how James Harden left Houston. I mean, I didn't like what he did. But as soon as he got to Brooklyn and started playing, I was like,
fat
you know
no
what?
more.
Right, I don't care. The dude is balling, and they are so fun to watch. So fun to watch. Rob, offensively, they can get, and this is not hyperbole. This is not an exaggeration. They can get an open shot every single time down the floor.
You've never seen that in the NBA, have you? I mean,
I can't think of
seriously,
it. No.
I've never seen a trio. Last night, the Nets scored 124 points, and their three had 90. Chris had 90.
That's an average of 30. You're right. Like offensively, and I'll give you their numbers. Kyrie led the way. He was fantastic as he has been.
What did he have? 37
all year when he's played. He had 39, shot 15 to 23, which is great.
Phenomenal, Chris. Yep. Phenomenal.
39 points. Durant had 28, 9 boards, 11 for 13. Durant.
What? He missed 2 shots?
11 for 13. And here's Harden. 23 points, 14 dimes, 11 rebounds on 15 shots, 7 for 15.
So he didn't need a million shots, and he can play
hasn't
within.
Been shooting a lot since he's been there.
No. And you know what, Chris? Sometimes you don't know. Like you play a certain way, and you think you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Now he's in with a different group, and now he's the point guard, and it makes sense that Kyrie's the 2 guard, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
And it all fits. He's not trying to take more shots than the other guys. He doesn't care. 23, a triple-double with those numbers last night against a good team in the Clippers. That was a good win for Brooklyn.
Excellent win because they were coming off the bad loss to Washington.
They choked
where they
down
basically
the
gave it away at the end of the game. Their defense was once again atrocious. And then now granted, last night's defense, it was a defensive rating of 120, which, Rob G, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be the worst in a game in NBA history. Is that true?
No, it would be the worst in the NBA if it was over a season. Because right now they have the worst in history at 119.9.
But wasn't the game something like maybe the worst this year or something like that? 120?
No, it's rating? Just if that was their rating for a whole season, it would be the worst in history.
Well, you can always pick something like that out. But anyway, I thought, I mean, again, they weren't, tremendous defensively, obviously, but for them holding the Clippers to 120 was good. And they got the stops when they needed them. What I liked, Rob, is I saw Kyrie, Harden, and Durant getting after it defensively. Now, I'm not going to say they were Kawhi Leonard or Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in their primes or anything like that, but they were in their defensive stance. They were moving as well as they could laterally. They got after it, and that's all you want. So they made it tough on the opponent. That's it. You can't do more than that. And they did that. If they do that, Rob, I think they'll be able to overcome. Now, I'm going to throw this stat at you, and then I want your response. In this century, which sounds like, oh, my gosh, in this century, it's 20 years, of course. No team has won an NBA championship while being only one team. Let me put it this way. Only one team that has ranked defensively lower than 11th has won an NBA title. And that team was the 2001 Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, and they were ranked 22nd defensively. Now, I'm not picking Brooklyn to win it all. I'm picking them to get to the finals and lose to the Lakers. Are you of them? Let's say they're 25th defensively, which may be generous or it may be right on the money. I don't know. But say they're 25th. Do you think they could break that mold and win the championship?
100%, because I doubt, Chris, there was any squad, and the squad you're mentioning, that had 3 prolific scorers or guys who can score at this rate. And I think that's what is the monkey wrench in breaking the mold there. You know what I mean? Where it won't you just said it. They can get open shots at any time on the floor, Chris. That doesn't happen in the NBA.
And they can make them. It's not just getting them, because they're obviously their 3 superstars can make any shot. Joe Harris is a great shooter.
He is.
And then if you got Jeff Green or DeAndre Jordan, who'll be closer to the basket, or, Timothy Luwawu, Cabaret, although he missed that layup against Washington. But, they got guys that can fill it up if they're open.
No,
so I'm with you. And look, again, I'm not picking them to win it, but I will say this. If they get to the finals, then that means they're playing well. And if they're playing well, you can't put anything past them. Whether you think the Lakers will beat them or if it's the Clippers or whatever, you won't be able to put anything past them because, that means they're playing well and all that. And offense, Rob, is not the problem at all. And I thought that would be a challenge.
You thought it would be a chemistry issue trying to figure out. I heard a lot of people on Twitter and all that. Oh, there's only one basketball. This won't work because there's only one ball. James Harden is a ball hog, and Kyrie is this, and he's not going to mesh, and he's got issues and all this other stuff. And right now, I'm just talking about right now, what we've seen in a big-time matchup, in a big-time game where they fell behind, Chris, easily could have lost, right?
Right.
Because defensively, when you fall behind 10, 11 points, and you got to be able to get back into it, and then they were down in the fourth quarter again. They climbed back, fell behind again, and were able to win that game. And the Clippers kept coming in that game.
And offensively, I thought, you'll remember this, when they got together, I said, look, ideally, it should be Harden at the point, Kyrie at the 2, and then Durant doing his thing at the 3 or the 4. And that's kind of how they've settled in. Now, occasionally Kyrie will have the ball in his hands, which is fine. He should. But Harden seems to kind of be settling in as that main point guard and distributor. And he's doing this thing. And I'm going to throw this at you, Rod, because a friend of mine hit me with this. And he's not the first one. You've heard it before, too. Let's say, hypothetically, Brooklyn does win it. We know that all of us have said, virtually everybody has said, Durant needs to go to Brooklyn so he can win it with his own team. He can lead a team to the championship, because as great as he was in Golden State, we know that team was just stacked. And they won it, before he even got there. So a lot of people want to see, get the asterisks off, the mental asterisks, and can he lead his own team to the championship? Now, some people are saying, well, heck, this is Golden State all over again. This is Golden State, the remix. Look, he's got Harden, he's got Kyrie himself. They should win it. And if he wins it, it won't erase that notion or from his legacy. What's your thought on that?
No, I think it would enhance his legacy that he was able to go somewhere else, go to an organization that never won anything, Chris. And I get it. And don't forget, the one difference here is that it went to a team that didn't have any real, any stars. And then those guys came.
Well, Kyrie was there.
No. But I'm saying they came together. I'm saying.
Right. Well, Kyrie played last year. But
right, but they came together.
Right.
And the other part is, to get James Harden, they had to give up players. It wasn't, you know what I mean? They had to actually give up good players to get him. So it's a little different from just free agents just signing and teaming up. This is different.
Yeah, look, it won't be quite like if he and Kyrie had been by themselves and, Durant just let them and they won it. I'll give you or anyone else who says that. I'll give them that. So it won't, it may not prove, hey, Durant led his own squad or whatever, but this is different than Golden State. It won't be Golden State. It'll be more like, it'll be more like, Rob, LeBron in Miami. Because just like in Miami, even though they had these three incredibly talented players, they hadn't played together. They hadn't won it. That team, Wade had won it years before with Shaq, but it was a totally different team. And so that's the difference. These guys have to come together. They have to learn how to play together. They don't have tremendous depth. So, yeah, they got great talent, but it's not like Durant's going to a team that had Harden and Kyrie. They won it last year. You know what I mean? And he's just joining.
100%.
So
and you have an organization that's never won, Chris. It's it's totally different.
A new coach, an assistant, a head assistant coach who's, obviously never won it, Mike D'Antoni. And, Rob, to most people, I think, they're not the favorites.
No,
you got people picking Philly in the East, Milwaukee, obviously one of the LA teams to beat them in the finals. So I think it is not the same as Golden State. And, yeah, it might not totally erase, that monkey off Durant's back. And some people may still look at all the stacked teams. But this will be different than Golden State, and I think you'll have to give him major props because he'll probably, although I don't know, probably you could say he would be the Finals MVP, but obviously Kyrie's going to have something to say about that, as will Harden. So it could be any of those guys. Would a Brooklyn title this year totally take the monkey off Kevin Durant's back that he's only won it with stacked squads? Your turn to weigh in. Rob Parker?
I'm here.
Rob
Let's
Parker?
go.
Is this thing on?
It's on. It's on.
McFly?
Stop using my line. All right,
I'm just saying.
All right, Daniel in Florida. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Daniel?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing today?
We are good, brother. We are great.
Okay, so I'm gonna use one of Rob Parker's lines. LeBron was basically MySpace and Kevin Durant was Facebook. The monkey shouldn't even be on Durant's back, in my opinion, because winning the championship is winning the championship.
Right, and he gets respect for that, though. He gets respect for that. Yeah. But you know, there's like Walt Frazier, other players have put a little mental asterisk there. That's all we're saying.
Understandable, but like LeBron's never won with a non-stacked team. He's only won with Hall of Famers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's
fair.
That's fair.
Why can't we give Kevin Durant that same, I guess, that same leeway that we give to LeBron? Because LeBron, as you said before, Chris, that it's basically the same thing. LeBron went to Miami, but he went with D Wade and Bosh. Yeah, Durant went to an already made team, but he went there because it was Steph and Clay and Dre. So so if he wins with Brooklyn, then yeah, that should completely get the monkey off of his back because he would probably have to defeat LeBron en route to that and AD.
Davis. Right.
Exactly.
No, that's a good call, Rob. I think that's fair because LeBron, as great as he is, he hasn't won it without a stacked team. Even though that Cleveland team may have been an underdog, they were stacked.
No, they had a
Kyrie
good squad.
and Kevin Love.
Right. You can't act like they didn't have any players.
Right.
Definitely. Good call, Daniel. All right, Max in Georgia. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
What's good, fellas?
What's up,
happening?
Chris, I'm glad you came back to this side of the table. Rob and I were trying to tell you this is the team to beat. Watch out for this squad.
I've picked them to win the East. I'm not picking them to win it all.
I'm gonna pick this matchup. I hope for this matchup, guys. Like you already said, it last night was super exciting. I won't lie to you. It was hard not to watch the scoring back and forth. It was a thrilling game. I do hope this is the finals for the sake of basketball.
Because you don't want none of LeBron. That's all it is. You don't want. No,
LeBron we're tired of that show. We're tired of it. We've seen it 9 times. We want to see something new. Player empowerment. This is exciting. Let's see it. 8 guys in double figures, arguably showcasing 5 superstars. I want to see it.
Oh, that was definitely Max.
Well,
top
you
shelf.
can't lose either way because the Clippers got 2 superstars. The Lakers got 2 superstars. It's going to be 5 either way.
Yep, it's going to be great. Georgia Jabari in Michigan. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jabari?
Thank you for taking my call, you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Every time I'm in the car and doing DoorDash, I'm like, I got to listen to you guys, man, every single time.
Man, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll just start it by this. Well, first of all, I think that, I don't think Brooklyn's going to win the championship anyway because, like I said, I feel like,
period? Like, not just this year, next year, the year?
You know what? I'm going to say this year because everything can change, depending on how many defenders, how the roster changed per se. So I don't want to say never, but I'm just saying for this year. I will be shocked if they win this year because of how horrible, like as far as defensive efficiency, I just feel like that matters so much that I'm trying to see can they do that 4 out of 7 times by winning the title. That's what I'm saying. But I just want to say this. I think that it would kind of be bittersweet of seeing that because I felt like before Harden came, I was kind of thinking to myself like, wow, like this was going to be amazing that Kevin Durant, the best player, coming off an Achilles, was able to, with Kyrie and of course with a deep team, was able to win this could win this championship.
Right.
Because of the circumstances. Now you got James Harden. It's like now it's kind of like kind of almost like the Miami Heat. Like you could.
Well, it's very much like Miami. It's I think it's exactly like Miami because at that time Chris Bosh was viewed. He was on the Kyrie Irving level.
Absolutely.
And D Wade was on the Harden level. And LeBron and KD, obviously. So, yeah, it's very much like Miami. I get it, Rob. I think Durant and Harden or Durant and Kyrie would still be a heavy contender.
Yeah, but I think
with all that depth that they had before.
Yeah, but I think what people aren't being honest with themselves, Chris, is they're going to get the big help that they want. Teams are going to fall out. Teams are going to let some guys, go, or they'll be able to get, if they get Andre Drummond or somebody like that, a big guy, Chris.
Well, ain't nobody else like that. That would be the big fish.
If you get Andre Drummond, you don't like their chances even more?
No, I do. I mean, I don't know how much better he's going to make them defensively, but he will hit the boards, and that gives you extra offensive possessions, some defensive rebounds. So, yeah, I mean, that enhances it even more. They need to get defensive-minded dudes, whatever they do.
I think they'll get 2 players.
They got. I mean, and that's the thing, Rob. This playing with guys that good, it's not. They don't need really good players. They need hustlers,
right?
Guys that know their role and want to hustle, can hit the open shot and get after defensively. That's all they need,
right?
And that's not that difficult to find. So,
and there are guys out there like that who are looking to win a championship finally.
Yep.